Hi everyone, I am Amit. I welcome you all to the From the Scratch podcast series. This episode is going to be very informative and interactive because we have some special guest on this From the Scratch podcast episode. So I had a very little conversation with him, and those minutes were very direct, catchy, and interesting. This man is self-taught and social entrepreneur. Introducing the man, the CEO of Nutware, Aditya Chiruburi. Hi Aditya, how are you?
Hi Amit, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. Hope so. This kind of podcast episode is comfortable with you.
I'm absolutely comfortable to talk to people.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Nice. So Aditya, could you brief tell to the viewers what is Nutware?
Well, Nutware has been established with a vision to process agricultural waste and convert it into single-use plastic alternatives. So that's where it began, and today it's way bigger than what we thought, and it's doing a pretty decent job for its own.
Nice. Good to know. So yeah, and like let's start from the beginning. I'm a bit curious about knowing your past, like the back those in your schools and college days. Like, what was your mindset back in those days towards career?
Towards career, I think my dad has always taught that you just need a gate pass to go anywhere. All you always need to go to a place is a gate pass, right? He has told me enjoy your life, just get that 60%. That's enough.
Okay.
I think that taught me a lot, because he was the person who believed that probably numbers didn't matter so much in life, or probably he has come from so much of hardship that he believed that anyone can go and reach up to the skies. So that's where it all began. Kind of my attitude towards my life. But overall, this social entrepreneurship cycle of mine is completely passed on from my grandmom.
Okay.
I was in love with her because she was so sustainable in her lifestyle that it used to awe me. Like, the kind of the way she used to prepare food, the way she used to serve it and ask us to follow some norms before and after eating. Even when you are touching a utensil, you should wash your hands and then touch. This is now becoming a norm. In COVID-19, if you are considering this situation, people are literally doing it.
Yeah, seriously, true.
Which he already used to do a couple of. Probably it's been a culture which has been followed by a century or even more, and probably that's what kept them healthy and happy. So that all this social entrepreneurship of our nature, how ecosystem is so important. You are part of it, and it's not always about you. Even when you talk about COVID, you listen to news about these many people died.
Yeah.
It's all about humans. Probably you could also give equal amount of focus to how much good we have done on the other side to the world. Yeah, it's been talked about. But yeah, so my grandmom has been my spine.
So like people are following their rituals back again. They are following those rituals which you mean, like the traditions which we Indians had long back in those decades. People are starting again. You mean that?
I don't know if you should call them ritual or just a lifestyle. It was just a pattern in a lifestyle that with only quickly after a bath, only they would touch the utensils, get into the kitchen, prepare food, and again take a bath.
Oh.
And then they would go with the routine lifestyle, and they would have very early meals. Like probably the lunch would finish by 12:30. The breakfast would be done before 7:38, and the dinner would be done before by 7-8. They had a very beautiful lifestyle in which everything was sorted. The food was organic. Everything was available without any pesticide. It was a village, small village. So the cross trading used to happen a lot. And with cross trading, the best part is when farmers cross trade, they're more healthy because they themselves are so organic. Probably they would put that pesticide into, if they have 2 acres of land, they would at least leave 5 cents of land for their own consumption, and they'll not do a pesticide to it. So they've become, they used to do that and they'll keep on doing it. Pretty much, this thing of social entrepreneurship is started with a concept called circular economy. The circular economy talks about, it's an ecosystem wherein which everything is required by some other living creature.
Okay, so all are connected to each other.
All are connected to each other. It's that fourth standard.
Yeah. I've seen that life cycle.
Exactly, that's the basic. That's always been there. That will always be there. So, if you the number of times you keep on breaking it, the number of times you keep falling.
So, like Aditya, have you worked on like different ideas before, like into Nutware?
Yeah, we did. I continuously keep on working with my friends, my well-wishers and all, on a couple of product service-based companies. The best part about me was it started after my Amazon. So my manager at Amazon, he was the guy who told me that probably this is not the job for you. When he was taking a 101, he said, project management is there, but you're more like someone who observes a pattern. So I said, what do you mean? He said, do you know something called design thinking? So he was the first guy who introduced me to design thinking way back in 2010 and 11. So that was really interesting. And from there it all started. And now when I look at myself and my circle, if there's someone who is talking about design thinking, then it is usually me. So because
you initiated.
Sorry?
You have initiated.
Yeah, I took that call. It was a very fascinating subject. Bridging the gap between what design delivers and what business demands. That's a huge gap. In every company, there is that gap.
Yeah.
Business wants something else and design delivers something else. So when both click, you get something called an apple, and it's a very rare combination.
Initially, even I was like blank. Why? Like I just wanted to do my own business, but I didn't have any idea what business and all stuff. I'm not as expert as you are in design thinking, but very few and very small like kind of methods which helped me, and still into those narrowing into myself to know what my area of interest and what I will be next 5 years, 10 years. So just narrowing is every day.
Nice. So that's it. Design thinking, and then it's all about business design. I like to design businesses. So this is what I'm trying to get into, a hobby of understanding how the business ecosystems of different companies working, understanding the stakeholders, and understanding why a company is doing well, and if it is doing well, what's been their UVP. And if a company is not doing well, can we do very simple jugaad things which can make it work?
Okay.
Probably if it's not doing well, there could be a reason why it's not doing well.
Sure.
If it's not doing well by the foundation itself, then we can't help it. But if there could be done something in terms of probably marketing, or in terms of supply chain management, probably in terms of design, service design, life cycle design, anything, and you could really change the course of a company. And when it is not yours, you start looking at it from an ideal perspective. You don't have any emotional connect with that system.
Yeah.
Just look at it as another research paper that you have got, that you need to just look into it and answer a few questions.
So we need to find those loops, and we need to find a solution how to fill that loops.
Yeah, and it's also about how they can implement and what kind of confidence or analytical impressions are you willing to give. Like if you do this thing, probably if you tweak your supply chain, you're going to save probably $10,000 in the next quarter. If you're able to give that intangible benefit that is in your mind, if you're able to put it out and bring it onto a book, make it into numbers, and show it in a simple Excel sheet, people will get bought. So this is what I like to do. I've converted it into a hobby of mine.
That's a good it's a good thing to know. Even I am like in search for many courses on like various platforms and searching for design thinking, but still have not found that appropriate person who can teach me. I think so. In the journey of Nutware till this day, what was the most difficult day or a difficult moment?
Difficult day or a difficult moment. There have been a lot of them, but every time, no, there's nothing so difficult. You're already climbing a mountain. What do you talk about it? Were you tired after 50 meters or were you tired after 100 meters? The moment you kickstart itself, you are ready for it. Even if you get tired, you have to keep rolling. So there have been a lot of instances, but it's all what I understood is your network, your friends. Those people are important when you talk about problems. You need people to solve. That's very soul. So if you don't have people, you'll find your hardship very tough. If you have people around, then your hardship is very easy because they'll solve half of your problems. At least there's someone to listen to it.
So, looking at the current crisis of coronavirus all over the world, I see a huge need of your product in the market. As like why I'm selling is because as there are many maids which are not showing up, and they're people, they are owners of their home, they are eating, and they are instead of eating in utensils, they are using those like disposal plates and glasses. So, what do you say? Is it a market?
I personally would say they should stop being lazy. They should start cleaning the utensils and have it in stainless steel or either other silverware or whatever products they use. But if I have to talk from a business perspective, good that they're using disposables, but don't eat on plastic. That would be my suggestion.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. Like once, while we were having a conversation in T Hub, so I didn't knew about the fact that on paper glasses you told that some plastic coating they have given. I didn't knew that way you told me.
Wax.
So instead of people still buying those, thinking of it's a paper or a good like a disposal, but still they didn't know the fact about it, which is a plastic bags on it.
I think a lot of people know. I'm pretty sure a lot of people know, but they ignore. They know that they don't have an option. India runs on chai. So rightly said, people, if they want to use glass, they're worried about the hygiene factor behind the kitchen. And it's in these tea stalls, it's usually so evident right in front of you. He dips it in 3 buckets and gives it to you. So you know that it is not clean. So what other option do they have? They need a chai for 6-7 rupees so that they can have it like 10 times a day. They can't go to a posh coffee day or a place like that to have chai every time. So that's a necessity, that's a need in the market which has to be solved, and it can be solved only with numbers. Only when companies like startups like ours scales up. When the volumes increase, automatically the manufacturing costs and everything, it's like they come down. And more and more, it's easy to give such viable solutions at prices which they can afford. Everyone can afford. Only when you'll be able to give it to these masses, the problem is actually solved.
So, like Aditya, do you believe in spirituality?
Spirituality, yeah, I do believe. I do believe that there's God. I do believe there are multiple gods. Actually, sorry to cut my own statement, but I do believe that there are multiple gods. Everything that you can't see is called God. Everything that you can't hear is called God. Everything that you can't sense is called God. And I believe that there is a lot that you can't sense. You are just a bloody tiny particle on a universe, just like another ant.
Like, how much did it help you in your business journey?
The spirituality thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I started looking at humans as humans. That's the best part that has happened after getting into business. So I started respecting every person who came along my way, whether it could be a tapriwala or it could be my own worker or it could be my watchman or it could be my partner. So I respect their time, I respect their presence, I respect them as humans. So these are the 3 things that I've learned. Because spirituality, it says that you need to respect each other And you need to see the God in others. That means you need to see the positivity in others.
Lovely
And,
statement.
fuck the negativity. Keep it aside for a while and let's talk positive. And I think problem solved.
Great. Even I follow spirituality. I love the same thoughts, man. Same thoughts. So there is a statement: using technology in the business, a company can grow and scale. So, what's your opinion on this?
Definitely, it can grow and scale. It should.
For example, there is a business. If it's connected with the technology, then there are chances more to grow and scale, like such.
Okay, see, if it is a sensible product, sensible technology, which does not complicate the existing process and which improves it in a very, what do I say?
Polish way.
No. In a sustainable way. Okay. Matlab, nothing in terms of the core of the business model should get impacted because of one technology. If that can happen, you can implement technology anywhere you want.
Okay.
If it's, imagine, let's call it to this. Do you know the oil, the refined oil that we eat?
Yeah.
Do you know an organic way of making an oil? Wooden, cold pressed?
No idea how it creates.
The thick wooden tree trunk is being molded, shaped into what grandmoms used to use to make chutney.
Yeah.
So that's it, and kept it between rock, so it rotates, and the coconut or the ground nuts are being dumped into it. It'll crunch them into such a way that oil comes out of it. Okay. There's a process before that they dry it off in sun so that all the moisture gets evaporated and there's only oil left.
Yeah.
So a person who can make wooden cold pressed oil cannot sell it below 300 rupees a liter.
Okay.
Not possible. No, it's not possible for the farmer to give it at a lesser price. It's not possible for the logistics to charge lesser. It's not possible for a manufacturer to scale up because it's a very micro saturated one. So we bought in technology.
Okay.
Now, sunflower refined oil or any kind of oil for that matter, where are the sunflowers getting, man? I don't see sunflowers anywhere in the bloody world. Where do they get so many sunflowers? Okay, the groundnut oil or refined oil, you get it for 100, 120. Okay. I've spoken to a number of people in this regard. They all get awed with the current oil industry that how is it able to operate, because the retailer takes in a cut, logistics goes, the supply chain goes. Then there is a lot of workers, human capital that is required, and you need heavy machinery for that. After so much of investment and so much of rigorous, setup, ecosystem, how are you able to give it at 100? What the hell are you trying to do? I don't believe that all these products that we are getting are actually good for consumption. They are approved for consumption, but they are not good. Using it or not using it is your choice. That's your choice, boss. That's not my job to tell you. I'm just giving you a product. If you want to use it, that's your call. It's approved. Can be consumed at your own risk.
Got it. So as you have accomplished and you are at a good state of being confident and fearless, so do you have any regrets in life?
No, I don't look back at life and regret. I love that part of me.
Very rare feature which people do have.
I really don't look back.
Nice. But still,
I've made blunders in my life. Lots and lots of them. Like, my dad's so freaking angry on me that he'll never forgive me in his life.
Oh. So you were a kind of mischievous person, or kind of like a technical or mechanical person? You do those things like that.
Stupid person, you could call. Who knows that he's making a mistake, but he'll still end up making a mistake. So that's what you should call stupidity.
Okay. So yeah, out of five questions which I get on social media, or out of that five, 2 to 3 questions will be like how to grow on social media, how to get views, how to get likes. And people, today's youth are like mad on these things, like likes, like followers, like such things. So, do you have any advice or suggestions to the youth or to the viewers who are watching?
I think creation is fun, but it's like you should not make a scene. You should actually shoot an existing thing that is happening organically. Like, at least in terms of businesses, you show them what's happening live. I think people will really love it. If you make a video with an anchor shooting people, acting as if they're working, uh, people are very, they're very intelligent these days. They get to understand what's actually organic and what's inorganic. So,
So can you elaborate to the viewers, like what is organic? Do you mean by organic? You mean natural? Be natural.
you make a script, you prepare on how it should be shot, you do a post production stuff for it. You make viewers see what you want them to see.
Okay.
What rather people would like to see is what you wouldn't show it to others. Like, it should be very raw, edited, and I think that's what is catching up these days. Also, rap is catching up. Royal Enfield came back. People like raw. People like beard. They're liking ruggedness. It means like they're going back to where they existed. They slowly they'll like greenery. They'll get into the culture will get split into people who will live in reality and virtual reality.
Best example. So, like, have you faced like criticism, Aditya?
Yeah, a lot of times.
How did you overcome or neglect?
I neglect because I'm very blunt. I know I know what I'm doing and I'm very conscious about it. So even when I know that I take risk, I take it. Even when I think that I sound stupid, I say it. And even when I think that probably it would hurt others,
Mhm.
I tend to say it on their face. So
That's nice. Like after that conversation, I guess now is the conversation, which is a bit lengthy conversation, which I'm having with you now. And as per talking to you, I'm getting one perspective towards you is like you are a person who don't think about others' opinion or their perspective. You just go with your flow.
yeah, I think every creator, will have that ego, and yeah, mine. I have an ego, and I know it very well. I know the permissible limits of it. So when I go out of it, I usually tend to go and say sorry to people. I don't mind.
Nice. So, like, last question. Okay. So, I'm excited to know the upcoming Nutware, like upcoming updates, kind of plans. Would you like to share on here among us?
Sure. We are constantly working on some beautiful, innovative products that we can bring in. We recently tied up with a company called Safety, Savety, and we are trying to bring in some hygiene tech-based products like touchless sanitizers, touchless faucets.
Okay, I have seen, as you have shared, that the touchless tap faucet kind of.
Exactly. So we think that after the corona hit, uh, the biggest contamination problem is again from taps, especially in public places or in schools or even at your homes, function halls. That is where it catches people. You don't tend to touch people anywhere, like you don't give hugs anywhere, right?
Yeah.
That's not what we're used to so much. But still, when a gathering happens, how come 1,400 people are getting affected because of it? I think one of the major reason is because of taps. And we have somehow tap is now an underrated hero who needs a break in his life. So in terms of when I look at corona situation, I see that what's the scene with the taps in a hospital? Imagine a guy has corona, he walks in, he's trying to wash his hands, he touches the tap with contaminated hands, He washes them.
Okay.
He'll clean it. Now his hands are happy. Again, he'll touch the same tap to switch it off.
Okay.
He again gets it. And it doesn't end there. There will be like 100 people who would be walking in to the same tap to wash every 1 minute. What the hell is happening?
True. Very true.
So that's where we thought we should launch such products where there is a sensitivity of touch. And good, it's important. We've always learned to say namaste.
Yeah.
So stay to yourself. So when you have to touch, imagine when you have to open a ATM door. I've not been to an ATM after Corona hits.
Okay.
I've never been to an ATM. I've borrowed money. I've stolen it even, but I've never been to an ATM because I'm freaking out to go to an ATM. I have to touch so many things. One is a door handle.
Yeah.
We're launching UV sterilized door handles. Then we went to those buttons which we have to obviously press. You can't get away with it. So we're trying to see if there could be any gel kind of a substance which can be poured anywhere, so that the place becomes automatically like sterilized, but you can still use it. N number of people can still use it, and it self-heals itself.
Wow.
So we're trying to understand how gels work there, which can be applied anywhere. UV sterilized door handles or usual door handles, your window handles and all. Touchless sanitizers, touchless soap dispensers are already there.
Yeah.
And then I told you the automatic tap. This is what is safety. So we are currently working on it. We also have PPE kits, personal protective equipment kits for the doctors. So for the front line, we are working closely with the Telangana government as well as the AP government to see and understand how much can we fulfill. So through my friend, we have collaborated with a manufacturer here in Charlapalli, and we have quickly made an injected mold shield. So we are right now giving it to the police department and other sanitization workers. And we are also giving it on sale so that we can make numbers and keep the entire system running even in this crisis situation. Enough so that we can keep it running, not exploiting the situation. Then in terms of nutware, we were working on a project of making the world's first healthy packaging box. So that will be like when you imagine the food is cooked in a restaurant, it will be delivered to you after 40 minutes. So what happens is, just like how you talk about water stored in a copper bottle for overnight, the next day morning, if you consume that water, it will add a lot of minerals to you, right?
Yeah.
So on a similar level, we are talking about a box. Once the food is packed in a restaurant, till the time it reaches you in the 40 minutes, 1 hour, 1.5 hour, or 2-3 hours of your consumption, it will enrich the food.
Oh.
So it will be made of organic waste, basically agricultural waste. So this packaging box we are talking about an agricultural waste, which can enrich the food. So there are a couple of there's a lot nature has. We just need to go talk to an Ayurvedic scientist. He'll tell you tons of ideas which you can convert into commercial products.
Nice. Yeah. So there's 8 innovative products which are lined up, right?
Yeah.
So Asa, that's it. This podcast will end over here. Hope so. You had a great conversation. And guys, whomever you're watching, you can check out the Nutware website. The handles are given below. You can check out their updates, their products. So yeah, that's it. So was this okay conversation, Aditya?
Yeah, definitely. But I also wanted to ask you a few questions.
Please.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask, what's your take on the current startup ecosystem after COVID-19 hit?
Okay. It will increase. It will grow crazily.
What will grow?
Manufacturing sector, the export, these areas will increase. These will grow.
Okay.
Why? Because as people have seen in China, they have now decided that they should not only be dependent on the one country, which is China. So now they want to see some other countries, so who can manufacture the same thing at the same price or maybe lower than that. So India is the one thing. So now many companies are also talking with the government, Indian government, and they are planning. So yesterday, while I was watching the television, so they were talking about like somewhere around 300 like global companies are trying to tie up with India to manufacture their products in India. And I have seen Japan, many companies they have shifted from China, they are moving somewhere else. And even Apple manufacturing, they are going to shift from China and they are going to manufacturing everything end-to-end products in India. So this is what. So export, manufacturing, these things are going to grow. And in these also, if you talk anything specific, so something related to hygienic, something related to insulin, something good, healthy, organic, these things are going to grow very fast.
So, Amit, how are you? Okay, I'll not make that a controversy. We'll make that sometime later because China is filled with resources that probably half of the resources we don't have. So that's the reason most of the manufacturing happens there because they can get that end-to-end product in like very cheap price. Like even when we talk about higher infrared thermometers today, China is still sending it to India at 2,200 plus GST, whereas Indian companies are selling at 6,000 plus GST. So even when you have a thought process that I should go ahead and start supporting Indian companies, it's about economies of scale and it's about material availability. It's about regulations. It's about taxes. It's about a lot of other stuff.
Many. It's not going to be like such like immediately, but they may start. This will start.
So my next question would be, Amit, as a marketing startup, how do you think, what are your plans of contributing towards the startup ecosystem, or have you thought about like going ahead and giving offers to startups? Let's collaborate. We'll do like this. I'll give you a 50% off, or you give me some royalty over your products. Are you getting into these conversations every now and
then? Not this, but I have some plan, some very tight plan, and very focused on it, which is like educational content. Very people nowadays are like they are creating courses. Business owners or housewife or a student or an employee, everyone nowadays they want some business knowledge. It may be from finance, tax, or digital marketing, or somewhere anything related to business. So they don't have any right exact same platform or authority where they can trust and watch the videos or content. There are many people they can go and buy. So there are many great leaders who are selling their course at very like good numbers, like 5-digit number, 4-digit numbers. So, but people, they don't know them, they don't trust them exactly. So they can't exactly buy them. So I want to create such ecosystem. I started creating my courses, uploading them on Udemy and some other platforms absolutely for free, because this is just a testing thing which I'm doing now to see how they are responding, how the platform is working and all. And after these things, after maybe 4 or 5 years, I'll create my own plan, which I'm started working on. So that videos I'll create my own platform by my name called Pocket Education, where anyone, like which I've told, like any student, housewife, or anyone, they can just come over there. They'll find everything related to business end to end. So this is what I'm planning for.
Nice, good, nice. Thank you. So when are you planning to get this done? Like shooting it after the lockdown?
No. This is not like. As I told, I created a very simple video course about like branding, so that I've posted on my Udemy. Now I have somewhere around 200 students who have joined with 3.8 rating. So there I'm seeing how people are liking. So that's my first course. And like such, I have posted on several other platforms, like other online educational platform. I don't want to be dependent there. I'm just learning the process. I'm just learning. I'm still a learner. After my age of 30 also still I'll be learning, because now it's tech is disrupt. So like tech and the digital platform, many business opportunities will come. So I need to be updated through that. I need to learn that. I need to apply, and then only I can give the knowledge. So I'm in that process, working, learning, applying, and then I'm creating videos and seeing the responses, getting the feedback, again working on it. So this will take maybe 3 or 4 years. Just my assumption.
But it's a good journey.
Thank you so much.
I hope it will be very tough for you.
Yeah.
I would ask you to make it tough if it's not becoming tough. Because as far as it doesn't become tough, there is no rush. You need to have that rush inside you. So make it tough. It's awesome. You're on a ride now.
It's a crazy ride.
Nice. Okay. Let's close this off.
Sure, man. Thank you so much. Like whenever I pre-recorded, I have pre-recorded few podcasts also, but no one the conversation which I have, no one have asked me such lovely question. Like they have actually not asked the questions itself. So actually, it felt a very I felt really nice. So overwhelming kind of thing. So thank you so much for this opportunity, giving me this questions so that I can portray my idea, my perspective to the viewers. Thank you so much.
I'm already on top of my building for all the praises that you have done, but I'll be grounded. It's just a casual conversation that we always wanted. So I think that's how it started and that's how it'll end.
Yeah.
See you, bro. Thank you. Thanks a lot for listening to me. You really get opportunities to talk about your grandmom, about probably your mom, dad. Why did you become like this? Nobody usually asks on a day-to-day life, why did you become so like this? So thanks for giving me an opportunity to talk, say it loud. And thank you, mom and dad. Thank you, grandmom, for whatever I am today. It's a lovely journey. And thank you, Amit, for calling me in.
Same here, man. Thank you so much for this opportunity you have given, your time and response. So hope so we meet offline also somewhere instead of virtually after this crisis. And yeah, hope so the viewers like this conversation. So thank you so much, guys, for listening. So here how I end. So thank you so much for watching this video and the podcast if you are listening on Spotify, Google, or Apple. So see you in the another one. Until then, take care, keep smiling, and bye bye.